This video contains a truth that has changed the lives of many people. If you are having health problems and have ever felt stuck, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment in the comment section so we can share useful knowledge together. Have you ever had a moment where something just didn't feel right? Your arm felt weak, your words stumbled, or your face didn't seem to move quite like it used to in the mirror. Maybe it passed after a few minutes, so you brushed it off. But let me tell you something important. Those little moments can be big red flags, and recognizing them fast could save your life or the life of someone you love. Hi there. I want to have a real conversation with you today. Not about pills, not about paperwork, but about something that could make all the difference when seconds count. Spotting the signs of a stroke and knowing exactly what to do. Because when it comes to strokes, time isn't just money, it's brain, it's movement, it's speech, and yes, it's life. And if you're over 60, like many of us, your risk is higher than ever. But here's the thing, just because your risk goes up doesn't mean you have to feel helpless. In fact, you have more power than you realize. That's why this video is for you. We're going to have a heartfelt, eye-opening talk about what a stroke really looks like and how you can spot one before it's too late. Not with complicated medical talk, just the real signs in plain language. The kind of talk you get from a doctor who's been doing this for over 30 years, because I have. I've seen firsthand how early action can make the difference between a full recovery and a life forever changed. And I want you to be empowered with that knowledge. So let's talk. Grab a cup of tea, sit somewhere comfortable, and stay with me. By the end of this, you'll know what to look for, what to do, and maybe even how to save a life. And before we dive in, please, if you're dealing with high blood pressure, heart problems, diabetes, or anything else that's weighing on your health, share it in the comments. You're not alone. And sometimes just saying it out loud is the first step to getting help and support. Now, let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is a simple word, FAST. It's not just a word, it's a life-saving tool. FAST, each letter stands for a warning sign of stroke. You don't need a degree to remember this. Just remember FAST, because when you see these signs, you need to act. Well, fast. Let's start with F. That stands for face. You might be talking to someone, and suddenly you notice something off. One side of their face seems to droop. Maybe their smile looks uneven. You ask them to smile, and only one side lifts while the other stays still or sags a little. It's subtle sometimes, but it's enough to signal that something's not right in the brain. That facial droop is one of the earliest and most visible signs. And here's a secret most folks don't know. The person having the stroke might not even notice it. You watching them might be the only one who can spot it. That makes you their lifeline. Now let's move to A, arms. Picture this. You're sitting with your friend or your spouse, and you ask them to raise both arms. One floats up just fine, but the other, it stays down, or it drifts down slowly like it's too heavy to hold. That's a big clue. Weakness or numbness in one arm or leg. 2 is common in strokes. It's like the connection between the brain and the body gets cut off on one side. So if one arm isn't cooperating, don't ignore it. Don't wait to see if it gets better. This isn't the time for toughing it out. Alright, now we're at S, speech. This one can be startling. Someone might suddenly start slurring their words, or they can't seem to get the words out at all. You ask a simple question, "How are you feeling?" and the response is jumbled, or they can't answer. You know what they're trying to say, but the words are just off. And listen, it's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a few words that sound strange, like they've had a couple drinks when they haven't. Other times, they may not be able to speak at all, or they might speak clearly but use the wrong words entirely, like saying chair when they mean phone. That's the brain misfiring. And it's scary, yes, but it's also a clear sign that the brain needs help. Fast. Finally, we get to T, time. And this might be the most important letter of all. Because time lost is brain lost. Every second that goes by, more brain cells are damaged. So if you see any of these signs, facial drooping, arm weakness, slurred or strange speech, call 911 immediately. Don't drive yourself or have someone else drive you. Don't wait to see if it goes away. Paramedics are trained to treat strokes right away, and they can call ahead to the hospital to make sure help is ready the moment you arrive. Here's something I've seen again and again. People hesitate. They don't want to cause a fuss. They tell themselves they'll be fine in a few minutes. But by the time they get help, it's too late to reverse the damage. Don't be that person. Don't let someone you love be that person. When in doubt, call. It's always better to be wrong and safe than silent and sorry. Now, maybe you're thinking, I already know this stuff. That's great. But let me ask you, would you recognize a stroke in your partner? In your neighbor? In yourself? When it's happening fast and out of nowhere, it's easy to miss. That's why practicing this mentally is so important. Just once a month, review it in your mind. FSD. Say it out loud if you have to. Quiz your spouse. Make it a little routine, like checking the batteries in the smoke detector. Because this is brain protection. So far, we've talked about the signs to look out for, how the face, arms, and speech can tell you when something's seriously wrong, and how acting fast can truly mean the difference between recovery and lifelong disability. But there's more to know, especially about what happens next and how you can prepare yourself and your loved ones to respond calmly and quickly when a stroke strikes. Let's keep going, because you deserve to be fully equipped every step of the way. Now, if you've made it this far, you already know how crucial it is to listen to your body and to act quickly when something feels off. We've talked about how a stroke can come on suddenly, without warning, and how recognizing the early signs can be the difference between life and loss. So let's keep that awareness building, because the next few moments of understanding could change everything. Imagine this: you're sitting at the breakfast table with your spouse, your neighbor, or even just a close friend who came by for coffee. The morning's going just fine, chatting about the garden, the weather, maybe the grandkids. And then, all of a sudden, they stop mid-sentence. Not like they forgot what they were saying, more like the words got stuck on the way out. Their mouth is moving, but it's slurred or twisted, like one side of their face just gave up. Now that might seem like something that'll pass. Maybe they just need some water, right? Maybe they're just tired. No. That right there is the moment you need to act. That's the moment that saves lives. When we talk about stroke symptoms, we use a simple tool called FAST. It's an easy way to remember the most common warning signs and how to respond. In part 1, we talked about the first sign, F, which stands for face drooping. Now let's talk about the second part, A for arm weakness. Here's how it looks. You ask the person to raise both of their arms. Maybe they can raise one, but the other just droops down like it's too heavy to lift. Or maybe they can raise both, but one slowly sinks, like it's forgotten how to stay up. That's not just a sign of being tired or overdoing it in the garden. That's a red flag. Now, don't just take their word for it if they say, "Oh, I'm fine, it's nothing." We all do that, especially as we get older. We don't want to bother anyone. We think it'll pass. But strokes don't wait. Time is critical. Every second your brain is without oxygen, cells are dying. And once those cells are gone, they're gone for good. So if someone can't raise their arm like they normally would, or one arm feels numb or weak, don't hesitate. That's your signal. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about the next letter in FAST, S for speech difficulty. Now, this one's powerful because it's often so clear, so jarring, that you just know something's wrong. Maybe their words come out jumbled, like they're trying to speak, but their mouth won't cooperate. Maybe they start saying things that don't make sense. Or they try to repeat a simple sentence, and it sounds completely off. Or maybe they can't get any words out at all. That's not confusion. That's not nerves. That's your third red flag. And here's something I want to say, especially to those of you who live alone. I know it's easy to brush off these symptoms if they happen to you. You might think, it'll go away, or I'll just lie down for a bit. But stroke symptoms aren't something you sleep off. If you feel your arm go numb, if your speech suddenly becomes slurred, if your face starts drooping, you need help right away. Call 911. Don't wait for someone to check in. Don't try to tough it out. Get help immediately. And caregivers, spouses, friends, this is where you come in, too. If you see even one of these signs, don't delay. Don't second guess yourself. It's better to be wrong and have it turn out to be nothing than to wait and lose precious minutes that could have made all the difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It all happens so fast, how can I really be sure? Well, That's exactly why the last letter in FAST matters just as much as the rest. T for time to call. 911. The moment you see any of the signs: face drooping, arm weakness, or speech trouble, don't wait for all three. Don't wait to be sure. Trust your gut and call. Let the medical team figure it out. That's their job. Your job is to sound the alarm. Let me tell you, I've seen this in the emergency room more times than I can count. A family brings someone in right away, and we get to work fast, and that person walks out with their life, their independence, and their future still intact. But the ones who wait, who hoped it would pass, who thought they'd just take a nap and feel better, too often, they lose the chance to speak, to move, to recognize the faces of the people they love. And that's heartbreaking. This is why I'm so passionate about spreading the word, because once you know what to look for, you have power, real power. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to remember this one word: FAST. Face, arm, speech, time. Now let me tell you a quick story. A woman in her late 70s, let's call her Eleanor, was watching her husband work on a puzzle. Everything was fine until she noticed his arm just slid off the table. At first, she thought he was joking. Then he tried to speak, and the words just wouldn't come. She froze, but then she remembered fast. She dialed 911 without hesitation. He got to the hospital within minutes, and because of her quick action, he made a full recovery. No wheelchair, no long rehab, just a close call and a new appreciation for the time they still had together. That's the power you hold, and it's not complicated. It's not something you have to study. You just need to know what to watch for and what to do when it happens. So if you're watching this now, take a moment to let that sink in. Think about your loved ones. Think about your neighbors, your church friends, your bowling league, your walking group. Because knowing the signs doesn't just help you, it can save someone else too. And before we continue, I want to remind you of something important. If you've ever had a health scare, a question, or a concern, this is a space for you. Go ahead and share what you're going through in the comments. Whether it's stroke related, high blood pressure, or even just feeling off lately, we're building a community of care here. You're not alone. Let's take that knowledge, that courage, and carry it forward, because we're not just learning about stroke. We're preparing to protect the lives of the people we love. If you've been with us through this journey, you've already taken a powerful step, because knowledge is the first defense. But now, let's take it even further. Let's talk about what you can do today to prepare, protect, and possibly even prevent a stroke from happening in the first place. Because here's the truth. Most strokes don't come out of nowhere. They often show up after years of silent warning signs. High blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes, smoking, lack of exercise, even stress. These things creep into our lives quietly until one day, something snaps. But the good news is, you're not powerless. You have more control than you think. And we're going to break it down into something easy to remember. I call it beat the risk. B, blood pressure. High blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for stroke. And for many people, it's a silent killer. No symptoms, no warnings. So the first step is to know your numbers. If you haven't had your blood pressure checked in a while, call your doctor or visit your pharmacy. You can even get a home monitor. They're simple to use and incredibly important. E, exercise. Now don't worry, I'm not talking about running marathons. I mean movement, gentle walks, chair yoga, dancing in the kitchen. Just 20 to 30 minutes a day can lower your blood pressure, reduce stress, and improve blood flow to your brain. Move your body however you can. It makes a bigger difference than you realize. A, avoid smoking and alcohol. Smoking doubles your risk of stroke. Doubles. And while a little red wine now and then might be fine, heavy drinking, that's a risk too. If you smoke, it's never too late to quit. And if you drink, keep it moderate. These choices matter. T, take medications seriously. If your doctor gave you something for high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, take it. Don't skip doses. Don't wait until you feel bad. These meds are your shield. Even when you don't see them working, keep them close. Stay on track. So here's where we land. Recognize the signs. Act fast. Live to beat the risk. But more than that, I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel heard. Because aging doesn't mean sitting on the sidelines. It doesn't mean giving up your independence. It means knowing what matters most and protecting it with everything you've got. Your life matters. Your stories, your laughter, your Sunday morning routines, your family dinners, the way your grandchild holds your hand, or your friend smiles when you show up at the coffee shop. All of that matters. That's what we're fighting for. So please do this for yourself, for your spouse, for the friend down the street. Watch for the signs: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and take small, steady steps toward better health. Know your blood pressure. Move your body. Make smart choices. Take your medications. It's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. You are not alone. And if no one's told you this lately, you are strong. You are wise. And you are deeply valued. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone you love. It might be the one thing that saves their life. Leave us a comment, share your story, or ask a question. We're here for each other. Because when we know better, we do better. And when we act fast, we beat the odds.